Hey guys, Nuzzle here, and today we're back for another YouTube video. Today we're going to be talking about Part 3 Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure versus Muzan. I'm still not going to try and attempt to pronounce the last name, otherwise I will just cry, from Demon Slayer. I wasn't originally going to make this video, but due to the sheer, ask, or, the amount of, comments in the first Muzan versus Dio video I made talking about how, Part 3 Dio would destroy Muzan, I figured I would, make a video discussing, why that would be or why that wouldn't be. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to dislike and subscribe, and yeah, let's just get right into the video. For strength attack potency, Dio should at least scale to his Part 1 self, who is capable of surviving the Part 1 boat exploding, and of course he should be able to scale to those who can damage him as a result. And the boat explosion was around 64.75 tons of TNT, or around city block level. There are a lot more city block level feats in JoJo, which is why I think this is the best one to go for, since it's the highest one and it's also the most consistent. However, there is a multi-city block level feat you could use for Dio, as Dio's the world scales to Star Platinum, who when weaker was also able to scale to Stone Free, and Stone Free was capable of deflecting meteors, and that to do that you'd have to have the power of around 100 tons of TNT, or enough to destroy multiple city blocks. As for Muzan, meanwhile, even when heavily weakened, he could take on multiple very skilled Demon Slayers all at once. I've already tried saying all their names at once in previous videos, and as we know, me and Demon Slayer names just don't get along. And, all of them individually scale above Doma, who is able to create a large giant ice sculpture even when they were weakened too. And to do this, you'd have to have a power of around 70 tons of TNT, or city block level plus as it is in Versus terms. So it is a little bit complicated. If you take the city block level feat for Dio, then Muzan is head and shoulders more powerful than him. However, taking the multi-city block level feat, it makes it much stranger to compare, because going by the numbers, Dio would be stronger than Muzan. However, we know that Muzan was obviously heavily weakened against all those Demon Slayers, and then all of them individually scale to someone who was already very weakened when they performed the feat. So I would argue that it's a tie, considering how close they are in terms of power. If Dio was 100 times more powerful, then it would be too large a gap to just assume that Muzan would catch up. But because of how close it is, I'd probably say it's a tie between power, if not in Muzan's favour again if you go with the city block level feat for Dio. As for speed, and Dio was able to deflect the Emerald Splash even without Time Stop or the World, meaning that even without those he should still, be comparable to Hierophant Green when it comes to speed. Hierophant Green scales to the Silver Chariot and Star Platinum, as he has fought Star Platinum in the past, and Star Platinum has fought Silver Chariot, and Silver Chariot was capable of intercepting a beam of light at around 365 times the speed of light. Of course, with the World he has infinite speed, but that's only when he's stopped time. As for Muzan's speed, he's much faster than Akaza, who's comparable to Mark the Giyu, who is superior to Zenzu, who could cross a room faster than lightning could at around 1 million miles per hour. However, even then it doesn't even come close to Dio's speed. For comparison, Dio's speed in miles per hour is 244 billion miles per hour. So yeah, Dio, even without the World, is so much faster than Muzan, it's not even really that close. As for durability, and Dio, his durability should scale to his attack potency, as, he's been able to take many hits from people who are around equal strength to him, such as Star Platinum. As for Muzan, for his durability, he was able to take hits from all of the Demon Slayer characters we've already brought up before, meaning that he should also scale to his durability, or his attack potency should scale to his durability, meaning it's the same kind of predicament as before, meaning that Dio with the multi-city block level scaling is more than likely more durable than Muzan. However, it's too close to say that it is either way, and obviously with the city block level scaling, then Muzan is more durable. As for abilities, weapon, and techniques, it's unknown if Dio still has his powers from part 1, like when it comes to the Ripper Stingy Eyes or the freezing powers. However, the powers that we do know that he has still are the likes of enhanced senses. He can fly, he has absorption and absolutely genius intellect, he has self-sustenance as he was able to sit at the bottom of the ocean for hundreds of years, he has regeneration and minor immortality as he was able to survive as just a head. He also has body control and minor elasticity as he can, he can manipulate his veins like elastic. He has necromancy and biological manipulation. He has mind manipulation and mind control with the flesh buds. He has extrasensory perception. He's quite acrobatic. He has telepathy and fear-inducing aura. He has summoning, as you know, he can summon the world. He has non-physical interaction, as stands have been shown capable of touching and harming ghosts. Hermit Purple, like number 2, also has elasticity too. He has clairvoyance, technology manipulation, mind reading. He has selective intangibility, meaning that he can, make the world intangible if he so wishes. He also has invisibility, as stands cannot be seen or hurt by people who don't have stands themselves. This is beyond just, being a spirit, as even ghosts can't see them. He can create after images, can stop time for, a limited amount of time. He can manipulate the world's size, he has aura, he has pain resistance, and has limited resistance to time stop himself. As for Muzan, meanwhile, he also has enhanced senses. He is also a genius in intellect, as he survived for hundreds of years. He has extremely high regeneration, as he can regrow limbs from just blood. He has self-sustenance, as he doesn't need to sleep. He has fear and paralysis inducement via his aura. He can sense others and their malicious intent. He's quite acrobatic, and is a master martial artist. He has stealth mastery, biological deconstruction. By injecting blood into humans, it causes rapid mutation. He has shapeshifting and absorption, as he can absorb people, demons, and just objects into him, and he can even permanently kill demons this way, despite the fact that they can regenerate. He also can absorb their powers as well, as he was able to absorb Nezuko's immunity to the sun, and he was able to summon ghosts of those who he's absorbed to communicate with them. He has Power Bestow, as he can turn humans into demons. I forgot to kind of mention that for Dio. Dio can also do that. He has limited telepathy. He can only really has telepathy to those that he controls. He has memory manipulation, as he can absorb memories. He has limited transmutation and weapons creation, as he's superior to other demons who can do so from clothes, rope, and metallic weapons. He has body control, as he can grow weapons from their body. He has fusionism, as lower tier demons can merge their flesh with large structures. He has duplication, as he can create and control flesh puppets. He has self-destruction, as he can explode the top half of his body and still be completely fine. He has adaptation, as he was able to adapt to multiple different blades that could harm him, and ended up being immune to poisons even after not even experiencing it himself. He just telepathically was informed of them and just became resistant to them. He has statistics amplification and transformation, as he can transform into his battle form, which increases his power. He has air manipulation, he can extend his arms, has blood and chain manipulation, as he can create chains made of blood. He has possession, he has a reactive power level, as in intense situations demons can grow, in terms of strength at least. He has electricity manipulation, shockwave manipulation, energy protection, spatial manipulation, has resistance to disease and poison manipulation, and pain regeneration and regeneration nullification. He also has resistance to fear manipulation and paralysis inducement. So in terms of who's more versatile, I think it's clear that Muzan has it, but in terms of who has the best abilities, that's up in the air. Of course, Dio can time stop, and that's really the only thing he can do that's unique to him. Muzan has a lot of really overpowered abilities, however, none of them come close to stopping time. So the debate for who has the best ability comes down to, do you think time stop, and solely time stop, is more impressive than other powerful abilities that aren't as strong as that when they are combined together? For example, he can absorb people into him, mimic their powers, and also just become resistant to things just by learning about them telepathically, and also grow in intense situations in terms of power, which is pretty OP. However, I'd still have to give it to Dio, since, being able to manipulate the very fabric of time, itself, is pretty overpowered. Not to mention the fact that, well, yes, Muzan has a lot of Dio's abilities, Dio also, therefore, has a lot of Muzan's abilities. So, the abilities point here goes to Dio, but the versatility point here goes to Muzan. As for weaknesses, and Dio's like most physical weakness is that his head is more vulnerable than the rest of his body. However, he has been like stabbed through the head before and survived, so it's not a major weakness, albeit still there. He also needs blood to regenerate from major injuries, and also he's very cocky and overconfident. And any exposure to the sun or any like kind of light the sun gives off will disintegrate him too. As for Muzan, he also will turn to ashes if he's exposed to the sun. Worstra flowers, I think, is what it's called, are poisonous to him. He's extraordinary, like, he is so very arrogant and also a perfectionist and is very easily offended. A hit from like, Crimson Red, like, Nichiren, I really need to stop trying to pronounce Demon Slayer terms. Blades will like hamper his demonic regeneration and even incinerate his cells. However, he has shown capable of adapting to this sort of stuff. So, in terms of who has the worst weakness, I'd probably say it's Dio, but only just, because Muzan's like weaknesses are very external and Dio can't really do much about them, with the only exception being his, being very arrogant and a perfectionist, of which Dio is himself, albeit to a less extent. Meanwhile, the whole head and needing to a lot of blood to regenerate major injuries, part of Dio's weakness, Muzan can exploit that, for example. So I'd probably say that Muzan is less vulnerable than Dio here. So who wins the fight? We've gathered from this that the power and durability point are more than likely a draw. You could make arguments for either of them being stronger, so to be fair, you're going to take the draw argument. Dio, meanwhile, is faster, has the best abilities. Meanwhile, Muzan is more versatile and is less vulnerable. So who wins the fight? This matchup is much more complicated to talk about than the original Dio versus Muzan video, since we talked about part 1 Dio. And Dio still doesn't really have that much of a good way of taking Muzan down. Yes, him being so much faster already without time stop is what really makes this a close fight, because he could avoid all of Muzan's attacks, and if he somehow gets, or if Muzan somehow gets that one hit in on Dio, Dio could just stop time before that happens and move out of the way. So, Muzan's going to have a really hard time hitting Dio. And the only real way Dio can win, or at least that I can see, is mind controlling Muzan. Since he hasn't really shown any resistance to be able to do that, Muzan. And he also can't, beat up Muzan, because Muzan will just be regenerating constantly. Whereas Muzan, while yes, Dio can regenerate from minor injuries, if he gets a massive hit in, then Dio's going to be more majorly affected. There's also, the fact that Muzan can, absorb Dio into him, which is a way of killing him. Of course, Dio could, is fast enough to get out of the way and stop time to do that, which, of course, then makes this much more complicated to talk about. If he's somehow able to copy the world's powers, or adapt to the world due to his insane adaptation, then Dio, his odds become a lot less so of winning, because he could, as soon as he stops time and beats up Muzan, Muzan can just regenerate from it and then attack Dio while he's stuck in time stop, at which point he wouldn't be able to avoid it. Another big obstacle is the fact that Muzan can't see the world, so that's also going to be a major thing there. So you could also say that it's whoever could outlast the other until the sun comes up. However, that's both of them are affected by the sun. So if the sun was just about to come up, they're both intelligent enough to run away. Although, granted, Muzan and Dio's arrogance would probably try and win the fight. In terms of who's got the most stamina, it is kind of unknown, because Dio's best stamina feats are being able to fight even when extremely injured. However, Muzan has the stamina feats of being able to fight for 5 hours on end, and that's even just the lower tier demons that are able to do that, much less Muzan. So realistically, I would probably say it's a stalemate, because Dio is too fast, too smart, and has the ability to just avoid all of Muzan's attacks, and also he can't hurt the world and things like that. However, Muzan, he is capable of killing Dio, quite easily. If you can absorb Dio into him, then it's GG. There is a way that you can have Dio win, as I said, with the mind manipulation. However, he would kind of have to have prior knowledge of Muzan's abilities to do that, as he's never shown being able to do that in a combat setting, and it's a bit arbitrary. Like, if the world can't beat him, why would controlling his mind do anything, if that makes sense? So, overall, I'd say it's a stalemate. You know, if you're talking about who's more likely to kill the other, I'm saying it's Muzan. However, if you give both prior knowledge about their abilities, I'd say it's Dio at that point then. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to dislike and subscribe. I apologise it's not a clear ending to this because it's just, you know, very close. And yeah, I will see you in the next video.